that's challenging to do any of those. It's that they're not doing it. Same as an inventory. They're like, hey, we need help with security. Great, send us your inventory. That'll take us a couple of days. Why? Why will that take you a couple of days? Did you just start your business? You should have that already.
Yeah, network diagrams. We've never had one of those. Well, how did you connect everything and make it all talk to each other? Well, we got
a couple of guys in third parties that they no longer work here.
Yeah. We just threw a bunch of engineers at it until it worked, and then a couple of them quit. Had to fire one of them. Now we don't know how any of this is put together.
Or they hired a third party to do it all, and they don't actually.
We don't talk to them anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
So welcome to this episode of Back to Basics. We're talking about the basics in compliance that trip people up and often end you in a lot of trouble or in a lot of risk. Today, we're talking about cybersecurity awareness training. And Brian, I'm going to let you just finish your thought there. You were saying a lot of companies just don't even do it. Do you think it's just because, honestly, with cybersecurity awareness training, I've heard people say, it's obvious, like the stuff that is in there, it's obvious. Don't click on the link. Don't, it's obvious stuff. So why should I have to have a program that I, make them go through it?
Yeah. A lot of, I guess there's some truth to that actually, is there is a lot about cybersecurity training or security awareness training that is a lot of common sense. That you get caught off guard, but the other side of that coin is inevitably it's like an executive or a CFO or a general counsel that falls for the trap. I think the good news is that recently, just with the change of the security climate, and more and more companies are embracing some sort of security efforts, and trying to shore up their efforts, just because it's necessary to stay in business. So there's a lot of these fairly affordable commodity security awareness training vendors that do learning management portals and have quizzes and stuff, and they make it pretty easy for really an organization of any size to not have much of an excuse to not do it. And it kind of goes back to, last time we were, when we were talking about starting to do these series, we were talking about ransomware. And, the ransomware is the big scary thing out in the world right now. And all of these executives and security professionals fetishizing a ransomware solution when they're not even doing the basics like patching their systems,
video awareness training,
collecting logs and looking at them, or security awareness training to remind people don't click on random links.
Nick, what have you seen work for the clients that you work with in terms of cybersecurity awareness training? Any tips that people can take back?
Well, I think the big one is that organizations, large and small, but we work with a lot of small and mid-sized organizations, and that's the biggest challenge is they don't have, a team of 20 or 30 people. So, to Brian's point, there's plenty of vendors out there that'll do the lion's share of it for you. But don't look at security awareness training as an annual compliance checkbox. Look at it as a piece of a broader security awareness training program. When we talk about the basics, we've already said lots of times that a lot of organizations don't do any of these things. You want these to become more commonplace. You want to adopt these best practices. You want to adopt this mindset of these, security is everybody's responsibility. That's one of my things I say a lot of times, and especially in the small mid-sized space, it truly is. There's a lot of people that are the targets. We call them insider threats, and there's insider threat sounds like the employee is the bad person or a bad actor. They're not always a bad actor. They're just sometimes an uneducated actor. They're doing something because they don't know any better. They haven't been trained.
Yeah.
And it's that reinforcement, but it's building that culture of if you see something, say something. Don't click on the links. All those things. But it's got to be more than just just a 45-minute training session once a year. It should be part of a bigger program.
Well, so the other side of that is accountability. If you have a policy around security practices and you put them through training on how to implement and follow those security practices and they do it anyway, you have a lot more recourse.